Hey, happy Wine Wednesday.
Happy Wine Wednesday. Here we are. Welcome. It is 5 o'clock here, Pacific time. Welcome all of you Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members across the country. Wow. Another great week coming up. We already have tasted a lot of wine this week, Mira Boucher. We're coming off an exciting weekend. It was Super Bowl weekend. So there's a lot to unfold about our wine tasting weekend and this week because we've been tasting some pretty cool stuff. I'm telling you one thing. So yeah, it looks cold down there, Mira Boucher.
It was for a second. So you know what? I think I just need to turn this on.
Yeah, you turn the fireplace on, get the jacket off, and let's get going. It's going to be a great whoop whoop.
I see three glasses of wine here, but we're talking like wine and food pairings tonight, aren't we?
We sure will. I guess that I'm going to be tested again. I'm going to put my restaurant director or maitre d' or whatever my old career used to ask me to do. So we're going to do some rapid fire food pairings. So you know what? You're going to come at me like throwing me a dish, and I'm going to reply to you with the Canadian wine selection that comes up to my mind. So, and I invite everyone who's joining us tonight to get in the chat and get in the game. So maybe we can have, let's say, okay, how about we do a little draw? How's that sound?
That's a good idea. For what?
I don't know.
An Enovino?
An Enovino. There you go.
I'm going to go get one. Hold on.
A Nanovino for any of the food pairing. We're going to start maybe like in 10 minutes because I have a lot to unfold, a lot to unpack. That's the Enovino. Okay, we're gonna do a draw here, a free Enovino for people who are into our game tonight. People who are getting into throw at me a recipe that they like, and I'm gonna have a couple seconds to give you a Canadian food wine pairing. So we'll play that game, but maybe a little later on because. First, I want to say hi in French to all of our French Canadian wine lovers. So, everyone, un beau bonjour à tout le monde, tous nos amateurs de vin canadiens, les amateurs de vin francophones, on vous souhaite un beau bonsoir. C'est mercredi, c'est l'heure du Wine Happy Hour avec Carl et Mira. Ce soir, on va parler de qu'est-ce qu'on a goûté en fin de semaine. On avait un week-end assez spécial. C'était le week-end du Super Bowl. Il y en a qui ont pris de la bière. Il y en a qui ont pris des cocktails. Il y en a beaucoup qui ont ouvert une coupe de bonnes bouteilles de vin. Donc, on va parler de qu'est-ce qu'on a goûté, qu'est-ce qu'on a découvert. On va aussi parler de qu'est-ce qu'on a goûté cette semaine parce que on a goûté du vin assez spectaculaire, merci, depuis le début de la semaine. On va vous parler de qu'est-ce qu'on a goûté. On va vous parler de qu'est-ce qui s'en vient la semaine prochaine, puis aussi des autres projets du club. Mais on voulait vous souhaiter un beau bonjour, un beau mercredi. Joignez-vous à nous. On va jouer une game à soir. Mira va me poser des questions, va me donner des recettes ou un plat, puis je vais avoir quelques secondes pour lui donner un pairing avec un vin canadien. Donc, on va jouer à ça. On va faire tirer un Enovino, notre aérateur de vin, on va en faire tirer un gratuit pour ceux qui participent et qui m'envoient un plat que moi, je vais pouvoir leur répondre un assemblage mets-vin avec un vin canadien. Donc, on va jouer cette petite game-là en deuxième moitié de show. Donc, on vous souhaite un beau bonjour à tout le monde de la belle région de Québec, la région des Maritimes, toute la région des Maritimes, le nord de l'Ontario, les gens du Manitoba, partout au pays, en français. On vous souhaite un beau bonjour. Puis, je veux savoir, c'est quoi qui est dans votre verre ce soir? C'est quoi que vous goûtez? Moi, j'ai trop. Regardez qu'est-ce que j'ai, moi, là. Hein, on va vous... La vie est belle, la vie est belle. Oui, 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 la vie est belle. Un chardonnay, puis deux pinots noirs. Deux pinots noirs et un chardonnay. Je vais vous donner un petit aperçu. On goûte, là. Nous autres, on est sur le Bachelor. Oh, oui, oui. Oh, oui. On ménage pas.
So what's in my glass? It's a Chardonnay.
It is.
It's a Bachelor Chardonnay, is
It's
it?
a Bachelor Chardonnay, and it's a 95 points Chardonnay.
Oh my
I am not shitting you. No, no, no. So next week we're featuring. Listen. We're gonna break the secret here. I'm not gonna hold that too long. Next week we're featuring one of the best winemaker in the country. If it's not the best, it's a legend. We're featuring Thomas Batchelder.
Definitely a legend.
Oh, that's good. His background and what he does just speaks for itself. We're featuring Thomas Batchelder. Thomas spent countless years in vintages in Burgundy. He had his own project in Burgundy in Oregon, but he produced some of the best, if not the best, micro cuvee of single lot, single parcel, single plot, single vineyard wines.
Very specific and precise. Do you have the bottle there? Because he does something really cool on the back of the bottle. I only know 2 winemakers in Canada that do this. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Do you have the bottle? Show us the back.
Oh.
So he has QR codes with the vineyard site and a terroir catalog on his website. So when you scan that, it shows you like the vineyard and the type of soil, and it's pretty special. The only other winemaker I know that does that is Richard De Silva on the Naramata bench.
Yeah. So Thomas, very, very, very terroir driven, very, very precise with his micro selection, with the grower that he does business with, to the everything comes to small details. So anyway, we had our first encounter with Thomas Batchelder last year when after being delayed for 25 hours or no, like 22 hours from the Okanagan all the way to Toronto. We were toast. We had no time. We wanted to get to our rental property in Niagara Falls. We finally stopped by the Bat Cave in Beamsville. Is it Beamsville? It's anyway. We swung by the Bat Cave, and Thomas was waiting for us with a full. No, but it was more than a case. I think a case and a half of wine, and I knew Thomas' reputation. I knew the whole aura around Thomas Batchelder's name, and I quickly discovered the quality of what and the precision and the incredible concentration and typicity of the wines that he's produced. And anyway. Next week, we're featuring him, and now we are in the midst of our tasting notes and digging into these wines that every day now are evolving and changing and getting like so deep inside. I'm having a blast tasting that. And it started on Sunday, and still now we're on Wednesday, and I'm still digging even deeper and deeper into my notes and my scores. And anyway, it is really exciting.
Our number 2 wine of the year last year was tasted this night. Okay, so this was in June.
You get like a little bit of herbaceousness, acidity.
You were talking at the time of I don't know which wine.
Yeah, that's a pinpoint.
How did you dig that out? Jesus, Mary. That was Hank. That was Hank Pinot Noir. I remember that.
Yeah, I see it there. I can read the label. That's right. So that's the night where we got into Niagara. This was like midnight when we're filming this. And we had 18 Batchelders open. and we were just geeking out like you wouldn't believe. Geeking out. Oh my.
Oh, I didn't want to go to bed. Remember, like we almost would like like
Well,
spend the whole.
it was like Christmas Eve. Like it was like, you can't go to bed. You're so excited. There's all these shiny new toys in the living room.
That was crazy. So,
Well, Carl was disheveled because we'd been traveling for like 30 hours. Mike.
and I didn't want to go to bed. I just wanted to taste all of these wines. But what we have in our glass tonight in terms of Chardonnay, last year, like for 2022, my number two one of the year was Batchelder. This is the Wismer Foxcroft Nord. The 2019 was my number two one of the year. Now what we have here, it's the 2020. The second, like the one that followed the sequel of the 2019, but very different because 2019 vintage and 2020 vintage are both such very different vintages that we got that we have different wines with obviously with the same frame, with the same purpose, but there's some different attribute around it. So yeah. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay, like a little hint here. I give this wine a 95 points. Yes, the Wismer Foxcroft, 2020, an absolute bomb, also the Bijou, from Niagara-on-the-Lake, 93 points. This is going to be one of the most exciting pack in the history of Carl's Wine Club. I am telling you, something pretty cool. So cheers to that.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Now we wanted to chat a little bit about pairings. So speaking of wine pairings, no. Which one are you tasting?
That's the Nord.
Oh, so good, hey?
That flinty, stony minerality has like a stick. Because I opened that wine 3 days ago, so the fruit has a little bit have faded a little bit, but the stony and flinty structure is just like straight like an arrow.
It's still so incredibly enjoyable.
Absolutely.
What I wanted to say is, speaking of pairings, like we're sipping this wine 3 days ago when we opened it, and then the next day and the next day, because it's one of those wines that will last, and it actually gets better and changes, and it's amazing every day.
Absolutely.
And then we're like, what would we pair this with? And what did we say? Nothing.
I want to pair that with a blank sheet of paper, a pen, and sometimes to geek out on it and just like, please, let's put the kids to bed. I need some quiet time here. That's what I needed.
There are some wines like that where you don't want to pair them with anything. You just want to like savor them.
Absolutely, and we surely did, right on the eve of Valentine's and all of that. So yeah, we had some. Yes, Easter Bunny needs to bring. Thanks, Daryl.
2 weeks on a stomach flu, poor guy here.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just getting back on my feet. So give me a freaking break, okay? Okay, so I want to say as well, so that's what the Chardonnays, we have some incredible, this is Thomas Batchelder, we have, and now he also does Gamay and Pinot Noir. We have 2 Pinots in our glass tonight, but before I want to mention that it's hard for me to get excited on a Gamay. Sorry, it is just hard. I've tried a million times. I try. It doesn't mean that I don't appreciate Gamay. It's just it's hard for me to get excited about it. So we went into the lineup, and guess what, guys? Guess what? Where is he? I, for the first time, had my socks blown off. I had a Gamay here. This is the best Gamay that I have ever tasted. This is a Gamay who got me freaking excited. Okay. Yes, 13th Street Gamay. I give it a high score. I think like price points wise, it was amazing. But still, I was like, yeah, but this, okay, this is something. That's the best Gamay I've ever tasted. I give it a 93 plus points. This is Bijou, the 2020 Gamay Noir from Niagara-on-the-Lake. Some of the oldest vines in Niagara-on-the-Lake. 42 years old vines, 32%. I think it's just over 30% of whole clustered. Boom, boom. Okay, so an absolute bomb of Gamay. Amazing. Mira couldn't believe it. I got so excited. I got like absolutely out of my mind.
But actually, yes, like it was such a complex wine. Like that's I think my beef with Gamay sometimes is it's a little bit like simpler sometimes. This wine was so complex that you could sit there and geek out on it. Like it's another one of those that we probably wouldn't want to pair with anything. You just want to savor it all night.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I wrote in my notes. There's more this concentration meet with finesse. There's that a depth into the mid palate where there's layer of jammy fruit, stewed fruit, herbs, flowers, dried flowers, spice and spice and spice, and like it was like, whoa, that was something else. So, and like crazy length on the finish. So yeah, I have to say Thomas hooked me on my first Gamay orgasm, or oops,
Gamay-gasm. How do you say that?
Gamay-gasm. And yeah, okay. It didn't take me to the same level that my Chardonnay-gasm. Okay, just yet. Like I'm still working on my feelings and emotion here. But yeah, my first Gamay-gasm happened this week. So here we are. The Bijou. Morgon. So Daryl's talking about one of the 8 cru from one of the Beaujolais crus. So you have Saint Amour, you have Morgon, you have Saint Vivant. There's 7 or 8. There's also Brouilly. Morgon, to me, Morgon and Saint Amour are probably my 2 favorite crus from the Beaujolais. And 10 cru only. Yeah, Mike just did his Gamay show. Maybe I should have listened the whole show from Mike. So yes, absolutely, Mike.
Shows on Gamay.
Yes. There's the part 2. So 10 Beaujolais cru. But Morgon was probably one of my top, and I think that they're all just to try. Let's try to compare both because, okay, as you know, as we all know, we cannot bring the Beaujolais terroir in Niagara. But if we're looking into depth, complexity, and in terms of style, I would say you're getting pretty close. This is 2020 vintage, though, so there's a little bit more of ripe fruit that I would say that I've tasted in any of the Morgon. A tad, like let's say a brick or a brick and a half more than what I've got from Morgon Beaujolais, but we're getting pretty close in terms of depth, complexity, earthiness in the mid palate, a little bit of torrefaction. So yes, I would say yes, it's pretty close, Daryl.
You know what? You said torrefaction, and I'm like, that's it. You're so good at this because you'll say things, and I'll be like, yes, that's what I meant in my mind when I was like, that's good.
Yeah.
That's something that I don't know if I experience a lot in Gamay, is that little bit of torrefaction.
Yeah, no, no, this is to me, I get some torrefaction usually with the Syrah. I get that coffee grind, or often it can come from the barrel, but I got that little part of torrefaction in that Gamay, in that
Yeah,
Bijou
'cause that was
Gamay.
part of the complexity. That was part of, like, the experience of it. It really was one of those
Absolutely.
wines you can
Because
just
that was
get
kind of
obsessed with every.
crazy in the sense that I got that violet, but the potpourri and a layer of that cocoa coffee and woof spice, like that toasty barrel. And I was like, whoa. So yeah, pretty cool. That
And
was
a,
pretty cool.
like, super long finish. It was just very exciting.
Yamigasm. Yamigasm.
Orgasm.
There you
And
go.
yeah, so 'cause that's what Thomas Batchelder does, right? He does Chardonnay, he does Pinot Noir, and
No
Gamay.
Gamay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's second release of his Gamay select is the whole Gamay selection. I think he has now 7 or 8 different Gamay, and we're gonna have in the pack. We're gonna have the the Village. So the Village Pinot Bench, the Village Chardonnay Niagara on the Lake, and the Gamay Village as well.
And what does
So
Village mean?
so Village, we go back to Burgundy as a reference. So Village means it's a blend of some of the best fruit, but from different village. So from different small appellation that you're going to put into a Burgundy appellation, the generic Burgundy appellation. So that's not going to be Meursault. It's not going to be Chambertin. It's not going to be Chablis. It's not going to be any of the cru. It's not going to be any classification because you have grapes from different top vineyard, but from different villages. So you put that in a village appellation that's the generic regional appellation.
Okay,
per
so that
se.
just means he's taken it from several vineyards. Whereas most of
Exactly.
his wines are very specific, not just vineyard specific, but they're like specific to a part of the vineyard and a block and that sort of thing. So
Exactly. And he takes the Village to a different level here, especially for the Chardonnay and the Pinot Noir. He does Village Niagara on the Lake and Village Bench.
okay,
So that's
there's
the two.
there's still terroir like
There's
specificity.
he's still focused on both regional appellation, where Niagara, for people from the western part of the country who are listening to us, Niagara is basically split in two: Niagara on the Lake, Niagara Escarpment. So the bench is on Niagara Escarpment, more at the mountain side, a little bit more, I would say, a little bit more minerality, more terroir driven, more I would say precise. And on the other side, you have Niagara on the Lake, which more moderate temperature, a little bit warmer during the summer. So where you got more richness of fruit.
Yeah, so the one on the sort of bigger section, the wider section there in like blue and purple, that's the escarpment, right?
Exactly. It's wider. A mountain. I know, Brian. Mountain. That's generous. I always try to weigh what I say because I feel like I offended people from Ontario in the past, kind of making fun at the escarpment. That I thought that it was something. The first time I was there, I was keep looking for where's that darn escarpment. Everyone talks about it, and I was like, oh, okay, that little hill over there. And I didn't want
Brian
to
knows what we're talking about because he grew up in the Okanagan. So we have
I know, right? I know. So I try to be careful. I don't want to make fun of the escarpment because it has such an important role, it's a critical factor in the terroir. Like it's not the most dominant factor in the winemaking, in the grape growing in the region, it affect everything. But it's funny because like from an outsider, I was looking for the escarpment. Where's the escarpment? Oh,
Yeah, no, it was
that's
the
the
same with
that was Mira and I kind of had to like joke about that. But yeah, no, I mean I don't want to diminish the importance
it's very important.
of the escarpment. It's not because it's not as big as I thought it was. But yes, barrel bench better. Okay, bench better, maybe. Probably. It's very different. Niagara on the Lake will be more known for and okay, it's the flat, right? It's the swamp. Let's call it like it was. People, the local will call Niagara on the Lake the swamp. It's flat. It's easier to. It's the large acreage. It's the mass production. But. Hold on here. Don't shoot me, people. Here, I'm not trash talking because Niagara on the Lake. I have fantastic sub appellation. The 4 Mile Creek appellation is probably one of my favorite appellation in Niagara. Warm subclimate. You can grow everything. Like you can grow Petit Verdot now and freaking Merlot like champs, like Cab Sauv in the 4 Mile Creek appellation. So that doesn't mean that one is better than the other, but I would definitely say that the bench can provide more depth and complexity, and especially the minerality, the dolomite component, the flinty component of what the escarpment can provide, but the mountain can provide. But yeah, is it better? It depends on what style of wine are you looking for. Let's put it that way. Like I went, like let's get back here to Thomas. What Thomas do, right? Like the difference between the Bijou Chardonnay and the Wismer Foxcroft. The Wismer Foxcroft Nord is from the 20 Mile Bench versus the 4 Mile Creek appellation. Or let's take the Village example is a little bit, it's much more obvious that fruitier, richer, a little bit more. Okay, I will put some word there that everyone wants me to tell and that I don't want to say it. A little bit more California style in term of profile. Richer, bolder, juicier from Niagara on the Lake. More precision, more minerality, more intricacy into the bench. In terms of Pinot, Daryl, again, depends on how you like your Pinot. If you like your Pinot complex, if you like your Pinot earthy and mineral, and like, yeah, definitely the bench, to me, it's the best appellation in the country to grow Pinot Noir. Pinot, to me, the bench and Prince Edward County will provide some of the best Pinot grapes in the whole country. But if you like big and juicy Pinot, like our friends in Washington State or our friend in California in Carneros do, like go nuts. Niagara on the Lake is absolutely the place to be. But when you get to a vintage like 2020, where it's extremely hot from a long period of time, yeah, it's a little tricky to bring back to the winery some Pinot grapes where you have preserved that level of acidity that you want to have, that freshness, that zing, that precision. So I always go back about what's your taste. I always go back and which kind of style do you prefer? And that's why often I try to give some international comparison to compare about some international region to give an idea. But but yeah, so that's a little bit my 2 cents. But yes, like the Beamsville bench, and even the 20 Mile bench, like all of the escarpment region for Pinot Noir, come on, like it's pretty hard to beat. But if you like the big juicy Chard, Niagara-on-the-Lake Chard do a pretty darn good job. I'm a big fan of the Russian River Valley personally, and sometimes I get some stuff from Niagara-on-the-Lake, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting a little bit of the zing of the Russian River Valley here. So yeah, it depends on your taste, depends on of the profile that you're looking for, but definitely that provides different style. Oh, here you go.
I have my first entry into the draw for a free Enovino wine aerator, baby.
There you go.
MJ's making a birthday dinner for her husband, mussels and scallops. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. What Niagara-on-the-Lake white would you recommend?
Now you're making my life really, really easy. And if you're looking for something weird and something outside the box, no, sorry, I have nothing for you. This is a Chardonnay. And I am going with, I'll give you two different options for Niagara-on-the-Lake Chardonnay. I will go number one, Les Villages, from Les Villages, Niagara-on-the-Lake. Where are you here? From Thomas Batchelder at $34.95. I would go with this, or I can also say the 2019 Bellaterra Chardonnay. That will be two of my Niagara-on-the-Lake white. Both are on Chardonnay, because if you give me mussel and scallop, I'm sticking with Chard all the way. So there you go.
Have it, MJ. Thanks for letting us know. I hope it goes really well. Happy birthday to your guy. Daryl's saying, I have one guilty Cali Pleasure Beringer Reserve Chardonnay.
Well, let me get to that, because we have I worked for a very long time with some of the Rockstar California wines, and Beringer, especially Beringer Reserve. And when you say Beringer Reserve, we probably they're all talk about Beringer Private Reserve, which is the top end of Beringer. Hey, solid. And you know what I like the most about Private Reserve Beringer? Even if it is California style, it is oaky, it is big, bold, buttery, and juicy. It's one of them who still has balance and still has preserved a great acid. Mouthfeel, I don't think you mean the month feel. I'm going to bug you here, but I think you mean the mouthfeel. Yes, mouthfeel is rich, but I believe that in the Private Reserve, you have a little bit of fruit from Howell Mountain in the blend of Private Reserve. You have some Carneros, you have definitely Rutherford fruit, but you, to my opinion, used to have some Howell Mountain Chardonnay in there, so that brings a little bit more complexity in the Private Reserve. So yes, one of my top favorite too. Absolutely crushed Rombauer or any others of these over oaky, over extracted Chardonnay. And that's why personally I like to go more Russian River Valley or 100% Carneros, where it's a little bit more balanced than the heavy fruit of Rutherford and St. Helena and the Valley Floor and Apple Valley. There you go.
I have to say something. What's the middle wine you got me here, Carl? Because it is freaking stellar right now.
I know. I know.
What is this? Is this the Gamay?
No.
It is gorgeous right now.
Wismer Parkey Pinot Noir. Okay, we're on the 2020 Wismer Parkey or Wismer Park. Anyway, the Wild West End.
Okay.
2020. So this is 20 Mile Bench. So we are talking escarpment fruit. I have not read through the whole description of the vineyard typicity. I'm not sure exactly what is what makes that Wismer Park parcel, the Wild West and so special. But what I know though, it's the wine display a nice earthiness, but there's a beautiful layer of ripe fruit right sitting at the top. And in the middle, there's tobacco leaves, there's tomato, a little bit of like of a tomato leaf as well. Right there, there's a nice earthiness, there's licorice, and there's a really, really complex finish. Things are just like going like
Oh,
wave at the end of that wine.
so good.
I haven't rated it yet, just yet.
You haven't tried it today?
Mm.
Oh, you haven't rated it?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we've been tasting these and geeking out on them all week.
And I have to say right now, I can't base my palate because I just got back from the dentist.
Yeah.
And I had that treatment on my teeth. And even if she said that's not going to affect my taste, they definitely have that neutral, like everything feels neutral right now. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like they say that like the taste buds are such an like we have very little knowledge about the taste buds, I think, overall, how they work and everything. But definitely there's certain people like you that have hyper developed taste buds.
Yeah. They're, but now my brain is disappointed because he doesn't get all of the information that he needs
Yeah.
to send the score to my mouth, to my hand, and I can put a score on the paper.
Interference, static in the lines.
Yeah, exactly, right? I bet Mira
Oh,
scores is
Daryl,
5.
yeah, you're right. Yeah. Actually, for most of the Bachelor wines, it was like that. So it's been a
No,
tough
I
week.
put a temporary number yesterday when I was tasting, and I put 94 points on that Wismer Park. So you know what? This is very special, and I like the texture. This is 2020, okay? So there's something so unique, and like it's important for me to talk about it because I believe that 2019 vintage for me on especially on Chardonnay was so freaking special because it was a little cooler and it kind of preserved the acid a little bit more. It kind of prevented to be over tropical and keep that stony, flinty, but acid, like citrusy that's what I'm looking for, a little bit citrusy. So to me, I give the edge of the 2019 vintage when it's time for Chardonnay. Now, when it's time for Pinot, I would tend to go the same direction when it's time for Pinot. I like my Pinot a little earthy. I like my Pinot. I don't look for a bigger, heavier Pinot. But here, I believe probably Wismer Park is a little bit higher in elevation on the escarpment. I can see a little bit more altitude in there. This is not over extracted. This is a very well balanced. The alcohol is still fairly low. Well, let's check here. Yeah, we're at 13.5. So there's something extremely well balanced on that 2020 Wismer Park West End. So
It's
my top Pinot that I've tasted from Thomas is the Lowry from St. David's Bench, the Lowry Vineyard, but on the 2019. And I have downstairs that I haven't opened yet. That's going to happen probably sometime tomorrow, the 2020 of that Lowry Vineyard. So Yeah, we have some big boys, or we have some big dog on that on that feature. So yeah, okay, let's get them on.
Totally.
Rapid fire, shoot.
Yes. So wild perch. This is from Arthur. Thanks, Arthur. Wild perch, New York strip loin, and small potatoes on the barbecue. Not sure if any one particular wine will work. What would you do?
Wild perch. So wild perch is a fish, right?
Yes. Surf
Okay.
and turf.
Surf and turf. Oh, now okay, you're really pushing your luck here. So like I said, are we going? Okay, let's go. Should we go two different, like two? As a wine director, what I used to do when my chef was throwing me a curveball like that with two different main elements in the plate, I say fuck you, and I bring two different wines at the table. So what I would do with the wild perch, might do a white meritage, something like Time family of wine, or the McWhorter collection, white meritage, and obviously now going with the New York strip loin, we'll stay with meritage. I will go meritage red, and I would do, you know what, which winery that I would do meritage here? I would stick with BC on that one. Archer's from Ontario. So how about we fill his glass with BC wines? I would probably do the Mosaic from Hillside Estate, Mosaic with the New York strip loin, a nice Bordeaux blend from the Naramata bench. I would probably go 2017 vintage, maybe.
What's with 2017 for the person? That does not know the
2017, that's
vintages by
not as
heart?
hot. First and foremost, not as hot as 15 and 17
Okay.
and 16. And just before the 18, in the sense that 18 was a little smoky, and 17 was kind of a roller coaster. And I had such a great experience with Syrahs from the 17. And these wines from 17 vintage starting to be right at that 5 years old, especially, so they're getting rounder. They have a bright acid, and to me, that's a little bit what I'm looking for this vintage.
Nice. Hey, Daryl's thrown out Chardonnay and popcorn. What are your thoughts on that one?
That's what like a lot, right? A lot of the California, because of the butteries, the buttery comparison that we do a lot with California Chard. So the salinity and the whole thing, it's a real classic. If you look at every chart of what to do on Friday night, the fun pairing, Chardonnay and popcorn is the absolute classic. So yes, it is, especially with the New World Chardonnay, where it matched very well with the buttery style. And let's get back to, like, when it's time for pairing, there's two different philosophy that you can use. It's either you go a contrast, okay, you have something creamy, something fatty, and you want to go lean and acidic to cut through the fat, or you have something a rich dish, and you go with the rich wine. So that's the two different strategy that you can use. And sometimes for me, it's all about emotion. As a former director of a high-end restaurant, I would often, it was all about my emotion. How would I go about that tonight? Could have been completely different from the night before. Often I will go same direction, or often I'm going to go contrast. All depending. Sometimes also depending on who's sitting at the table, and then how the connection goes with the clients. But yeah, that could have been very, very different. And the options are endless out there. As long as you keep the person that you do pairing for, you keep them engaged and open-minded. that to me, it's always been the key to make sure that the person that you're doing the pairing for still open-minded and have no box freaking preconceived notion that something cannot be paired with something. That's where I was going crazy, and I was going contrast and crazy stuff.
Yeah, and sometimes it works so amazingly, hey?
Yeah.
Hey, what's the thing you would pair with the perch? You said for Arthur, you said Meritage because of the
Yeah,
strip.
white Meritage.
You would do white Meritage with the perch, eh?
Yeah, and the red Meritage with the steak. So I would do half a glass of each. So you got the surf and turf in your plate, and I would have done the surf and turf, the red and white, an ounce or 2 ounces each of both Meritage. That would have been my approach on that one.
Beautiful. I love that.
Brian is asking about sashimi. Oh, sashimi. Brian is coming back from Japan, so he's all Japaned out right now.
Brian, we were watching your pictures and living vicariously through you. Poor Carl might have to go to Singapore and Bali coming up soon, so we'll see if we can sneak a couple Canadian wines out there too.
Yeah, exactly. But Brian, with your sashimi, I think there would be different approach with let's say tuna sashimi versus maybe a different type of fish. But let's assume that we're going like high tuna, okay? Tuna sashimi. I would like to go with the tuna sashimi. You know what? Maybe I would. Oh yeah. Okay, listen. Bluefin tuna with the toro, right? Like the belly with the fat of the tuna, really fatty piece, raw. I would go with the Pinot Meunier Sparkling Rosé Reserve from Vineland Estate. That bright acid, sparkly Pinot Meunier to cut through that fat belly of the tuna will be my choice. MJ, we had the same thought process here with rosé. I went with rosé bubbly, and we had the same thought process here. So, Daryl, if you don't want to drink your own, not Daryl, but Brian, if you don't want to drink your own wine with your sashimi, maybe 13th Street Rosé might do the trick. And I wouldn't be against. Might also do the Cap Franc Rosé with that as well. So yeah. I lost Mira. You're muted.
No, it's okay. There's many children around me. Yeah. So hey, are you ready for more rapid fire?
Please go ahead.
All right. So we talked about the Chardonnay. Okay, here we go. Ken. Homemade pasta served with scallops and shrimp white sauce with homemade French bread. Rick, that sounds amazing.
So seafood pasta, right?
Yeah.
Seafood pasta. Is it creamy sauce? Creamy sauce, Mira, or?
Absolutely, white sauce. So
white sauce. I love that. I love that. How about
butter on the French bread, probably.
How about the Sémillon? How about the Sémillon to cut through that thing? And I tasted something pretty cool here. It's the tall tail wine from BC that was a micro producer. That Sémillon is zingy, zippy. There was natural ferment and that brought just a slight touch of caramel at the end. I would love that 2017 Sémillon with the dish that you were just talking about.
Yeah, so that one, unfortunately, Lorna, one of our members who's on tonight, Lorna brought that over for us. Unfortunately, that winery is no longer, as far as we can tell. It was just around for a few years, but man, they made some great wines. And Ken, watch out. Putting out that pairing suggestion out there. Are you getting people asking if they can come eat at your house tonight? So I hope you're ready for that. Ken has some Semillon from Large Hills. So that's
There
great.
you go. Okay. Yeah.
And we recently tasted Semillon from Red Rooster. That was pretty darn good too, right?
There was one of my top rated, well, but not top rated of the year, but one of my discovery of the year last year. That Semillon from Red Rooster. It was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they aged it for 2 or 3 years, I think, and that's part
Yeah.
of the thing with Semillon, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey,
And I would like that option with your creamy sauce and your homemade pasta and the scallop. So,
Semillon, there you go.
Lisa, with the bacon cheeseburger. Okay,
That's Carl's love language right there. He loves bacon cheeseburgers.
I
Right?
darnly love bacon cheeseburger, and you know what I love with my Meritage? I love a splash of Syrah in my Meritage. So you know what I would do with that? I will go the Silva Vino Tinto 2019, was it 19 or maybe 18 vintage, from De Silva, the Vino Tinto with this Meritage with a splash of Syrah in there, a little smokiness will match the cheeseburger perfectly, well priced to at $26, I think. So yeah,
Well,
my
we recently
choice.
had their 2020 of the Vino Tinto too.
Oh, there was a 2020.
We did have that recently, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that would be my choice. Here, who's next here? So we have
Perfect. So you're getting some travel advice here, Carl. You'll love Bali and Singapore, but not the 20 plus hours of flying. It's true. 20 plus, like 20 from Vancouver, and we're in Kelowna. I returned from there yesterday. Wow. Still adjusting myself to the journey and time difference. Sweet.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, we'll see exactly. I will have more answer about that tomorrow, but it looks like it's going to be a like almost 25 days taking care of 1,000 people out there, traveler from all over Canada. So it can be that can be an interesting proposition here.
But what did we say, Carl? Who lives in Singapore?
Oh, James Suckling.
James Suckling, yeah.
James Suckling. Yeah.
Maybe we need to bring him some of the best Canadian wines we've had this year.
Absolutely.
From Singapore. That would be fun.
Mira, I give you 3 selection before we close the show. Come on, give me rapid fire.
Well, I think did we miss anybody here? So Lisa said the cheeseburger.
And I said Vino Tinto from the Silver.
Yep. I think we're good. I don't think I've missed anyone for pairings, hey?
You go ahead now. Your turn.
So my turn. Okay, so you guys that have put in pairing questions, pairing idea things, you're part of the draw. If you want to put one more, okay, Daryl, chicken marsala, anyone else? Put it now, because then we're going to do the draw after I pick my pairing thing.
So chicken marsala. Okay. That's a very interesting, something spicy. I wouldn't mind, and I put that as a pairing with the lamb kebab. So let's go. Chicken marsala. I would say game. Game from the one from 13th Street. So 13th Street game will be mine with the chicken marsala. That's funny because I put as a pairing for Le Village from Batchelder, I put Moroccan chicken thigh. So we are getting a little bit into the same type of thought process here. So that I wouldn't mind. Gnocchi for MJ. MJ also, but with gnocchi, now the big question is which kind of sauce do we want to go which kind of sauce do we want to go with the gnocchi? Is it a tomato sauce that I might do a Sangiovese from Summerhill? That might be something that I would think about, but it's just purely with butter, saute in butter and maybe a little bit of like a bacon. Might just go with something with a viognier maybe, or maybe a passe tout grain. Oh, maybe the passe tout grain from Mont Boucherie, what's the name of the
the PTG.
PTG from Mount Boucherie might be one of my choice.
This
So
is
now
what, for the gnocchi still?
the gnocchi, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Lamb kebab. Okay, so now lamb kebab. Should I would think of. Okay. How about I go Spearhead Winery, maybe the Golden Retreat Pinot Noir, full body, juicy Pinot with a little hint of earthiness. Might be that. If not, we want to go bigger, fattier. I would do Merlot, maybe painted rock Merlot. Would be something that I would not go against. So, yeah.
Yeah, Daryl's suggesting Syrah, and we know there's plenty of really good Syrahs out there.
Absolutely.
What about ham and scallop potatoes, Carl?
Ham and scallop potato. I would do. I would like to do a Viognier maybe. Yeah. I've tasted the new was it the Viognier? Yeah. Okay. Which Viognier? Oh, maybe the Lunescence Viognier. With that? Yeah. Lunescence Viognier.
That's that philosophy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and the Viognier still have some structure, still have some roundness. So I will go with that. Paella, I can definitely do a dry Riesling, maybe the Mayhem Riesling or the Cave Spring Riesling. Oh, Cave Spring CSV with the paella. Why not? Cave Spring CSV. And one thing that I don't mind as well with paella might be a Gewürztraminer. A dry Gewürz can be something pretty cool too.
Yeah, there's rare, but we have found some dry Gewürz that were pretty amazing and would.
Absolutely.
There we go. That's paella. What do we got here? Yeah, I think we're good. Hey, Mike is saying tomorrow is International Syrah Day. So all you wine lovers out there, try some Canadian Syrah, some good ones, hey?
You think?
Yeah, we've done so many of the varietal days, hey? Like where we taste dozens of different Canadian wines side by side and go live for hours like maniacs. We're now paying for it. That's why Carl was at the dentist today. No, but yeah, so definitely crack open some Canadian Syrah if you can tomorrow. What are some of your top Syrahs, Carl?
Some of my top Syrahs, obviously Speedfoot Toad Syrah from Summerhill Pyramid, always one of the top, if not the top of my selection. Also Rust from the Golden Mile. Rust has a couple different single vineyard, single appellation now. I would say 13th Street has released last year a one-off Syrah that was pretty darn impressive. Probably my favorite Syrah from Niagara. It was extremely impressive. Black Hill Syrah, always very, very solid. Um, Moraine from the Ramada bench, fantastic Syrah. Hillside produced a great $35 Syrah, really, really enjoyable as well from the bench. If I go down to down south, where about Phantom Creek, like I was emailing back and forth with the members. Anthony Pelletier today from Quebec was asking about the possibility of featuring Phantom Creek. There's no possibility at the moment, but you know what? We have to tip our hat, and they produce some pretty decent Syrah. I'm not saying that I'm willing to pay the price that they're asking for, but quality, the quality is definitely there. Who else for International Syrah Day tomorrow?
Well, I don't know if you mentioned Rust, but
I
Mike
did. I surely did.
right
Was the
now.
second one? That's the second one that I mentioned.
Great.
Mount Boucherie, come on, Boucherie Syrah Reserve, absolutely off the chart. Yeah, Maverick. Yeah, you're right, Daryl. Come on, Mira's wine. The 2019 was a little bit of my superior to my opinion, but 2020 also had a shitload of potential. So both of these wines, 94, 93 points, really, really well made.
There is a winery on the Naramata bench that we recently heard about called Mira that apparently makes amazing Syrah and very small batch. And so if anyone's tasted the Marichal Syrah, let us know, because I'm curious to go and try and taste that soon.
Well, there's also Nicole's Vineyard.
Yeah.
Nicole Vineyard makes some splendid Syrah. So yeah, lots to choose from. And I would say from Ontario, 13th Street have definitely produced my favorite so far. Also, Casaba has a few good Syrahs to offer. Come on here. Mouchadre Syrah. Mouchadre Syrah from Lake Erie, North Shore, Appalachian. Some solid stuff right there as well. So here's some suggestion for Syrahs. I think maybe we should maybe rethink of doing a little bit of more of the varietal days.
I think we need to do them again. And, International Chardonnay Day could be when you're in Singapore and Bali. So let's see if there's some way, even if it can't be fully live. I don't know what time it is out there, but maybe James Suckling can help us out with that. That could be cool. It is an international day, right? So maybe he can, we'll see. Let's reach out to him and see what he says. Hey, thanks so much, you guys, for your amazing wine pairing. I call them provocations. Okay, you were very provocative tonight, you Canadian wine lovers. So for those of you that sent those in, I have you on here. I think I'm missing Mike. I think Mike, you had something, so I'm gonna add you in here. All right, you guys ready? This is for an Enovino wine aerator that we will ship out to you. And it's a fantastic way to instantly decant your wine. We love it. We use it for a lot of our reds and some of our whites even. Daryl! Woohoo! Great job,
there you
Daryl.
go. Now you can Enovino all of your Pinot Noir as much as you want, Daryl.
Just not the really old ones.
Yeah, exactly. Hold on the Enovino on your old Pinot. You know it. There you go. So next week we are going to have Thomas Batchelder with us. So it's going to be it's good. Don't miss out on that one. It's going to be pretty crazy. Sunday night we are going to release. You guys going to receive your first communication about Batchelder's offer, and stay tuned. It's going to be pretty cool.
That's That's awesome. Great. Well, have a great night, guys. We'll chat soon.
Hey, Canadian wine lovers, Cars Wine Club members, it was another great day, another great Wednesday. So chat with you very soon.